dawns in dusk, the sun is setting on yet another week. So this is your Gamer Sunset, your weekly news show. Let's just kick it off with Saturday. Lost Soul Aside. Lost Soul Aside was a game developed by one man who was inspired by Final Fantasy 15. Bing Yang started developing this game 2 years ago when he first saw the trailer for Final Fantasy 15. Trailer launched on Saturday and has people swarming being like, is there going to be a Kickstarter? Is there going to be a GoFundMe? And he has said he doesn't want to put the pressure on him for getting the game out sooner than it would have to be. He says, quote, "I can't tell a lie that this game will come out in another 2 years. Whenever this game does come out, I look forward to playing it because it looks amazing. It looks like it combines the elements of Devil May Cry, Final Fantasy, and people have said Ninja Gaiden, but I've never played a Ninja Gaiden game, so I don't know what that is." Then, also on Saturday, the Pokemon Go controversy began. Pokemon Go released an update on Saturday, which may or may not have taken out the 3-step glitch. It got rid of the 3-step glitch. Everyone should be happy, right? But they took out the entire 3-step function of the game to get rid of the glitch. Oh, this is broken? Well, let's just get rid of the entire thing and not get a new one. The problem people also had with the Pokemon Go update was the fact that there was no statement given as to if they were planning on fixing this glitch, if they were going to make a new system. There was no word on Saturday, which started a lot of people being very angry at the company Niantic who run Pokemon Go. So it's a big deal that they kind of took out an integral part of the game because they had nothing to say to us about it. They didn't tell us, A, they didn't tell us that they were going to do it, and B, they did it without afterwards explaining why. But they eventually did, and I will get to that in this video. Moving on to Sunday. I don't know what happened because I didn't get the idea for the series until Monday. So moving on to Monday. On Monday, we got more Pokemon Sun and Moon news. And the news we got was Alolan form of various Pokemon that we've already seen before. Exeggutor, Vulpix, Ninetales, Sandshrew, and Sandslash all got very, very different changes in their style. Exeggutor is now a grass and dragon type and has an abnormally large head. Vulpix is now an ice type. Ninetales is now an ice and fairy type. Sandshrew is now an ice and steel type, and Sandslash is now an ice and steel type. Now, a lot of people have been saying Exeggutor looks really stupid, but there's a Pokedex entry found that says Exeggutor's head grows larger when exposed to stronger sunlight, which would explain why in the Alola region, a region inspired by Hawaii, Exeggutor's head would get significantly larger. Hey, everyone's like, what the heck is wrong with this thing? But it has turned into the new meme of the month, as I like to call it. The meme of the month is like, last month was the Arthur clenching his fist, but this seems to be the new one. But I'm actually very confused as to why they changed Sandshrew and Sandslash into Ice and Steel types. Mainly because their names, Sandshrew, Sandslash, either make me think ground or rock types. But switching them to Ice and Steel, I suppose a lot of Pokemon are switching to Ice types because maybe there weren't that many. I'm going to check that right now, actually. There are 35 Ice type Pokemon in the game as of Gen 6, which is last gen, which they added 4 more, which would mean there are now 39. Now let me check how many ground types there are. And there are 61 ground type Pokemon. So I guess it does make sense that they changed Sandshrew and Sandslash from ground to ice type, but it kind of bothers me that they did that because the names Sandshrew and Sandslash immediately make me think of, oh, it's going to be a ground type or a rock type. So that kind of bothered me with that. But moving on, we also got some brand new Pokemon, such as I'm gonna butcher this name, Oricorio. Now, Oricorio has different island forms depending on which island you're on in the game. This Pokemon has the Bale form, Bale is fire, Pom-Pom form, electric, Pow form, psychic, and Sensu form, which is their ghost form. And we also got introduced to a new Pokemon named Minior, which is a rock and flying type who has a shield to protect it. Once this Minior Pokemon has taken a certain amount of damage, the shield around it will break and will switch from being a more defensive Pokemon to a more offensive Pokemon, which seems to be a very interesting new typing, because there's no Pokemon in the game that I think does that, where at a certain point they switch from being more defensive based Pokemon to a more offensive based Pokemon. So that's good. We've seen the evolution of Yungoos. Gumshoes is the evolution of Yungoos, and is a normal type. Formantis evolves into Lurantis, and both are grass types. Now, we know of Mudbray, which is the pre-evolution to Mudsdale, and both are ground types. With this new announcement, we know that we can also use Ride Pokemon in the game, which is taking the place of HMs, which means you don't have to constantly stack multiple HMs on, like, one Pokemon, so you don't have an HM mule, like Bidoof, and that's the only one I can think of at the top of the head. Bidoof. Like, you catch a Bidoof not so you can have a Bidoof on your team. You catch a Bidoof so you can give him all of your HMs that you don't want to put on your other stronger Pokemon. There seems to be no gyms in this new Alolan region, but rather there is a trial and a kahuna on each island. We've also been introduced to Mal, the grass trial captain, Lana, the water trial leader, Sophocles, the electric trial captain, and Kiawe, the fire trial captain. After the trials are completed, you will have to face off against a totem Pokemon. These totem Pokemon are significantly more powerful than their average counterparts. The example they used in the trailer showed a Gumshoes, which is significantly bigger than a normal Gumshoes. It seemed to be about roughly 2, maybe 3 times the size of a normal Gumshoes. Significantly big and has an aura appearing off of it, a golden aura. With this update, these totem Pokemon are very powerful, and once you defeat the totem, you must take on the Grand Trial and defeat the kahuna of that island. Then you can move on to the next island. So far, we only know of Hala, the kahuna of Melemele Island. We also know of Z-moves and Z-crystals. Z-moves and Z-crystals seem to be taking the place of the Mega Evolution, which was introduced in Gen 6. In this new Gen 7, you're able to use one Z-move. I'm not sure if you're able to use one Z-move period per match, or you're able to use one Z-move per Pokemon per match. But say you have a Pikachu and you have a Pikachu Z-Crystal. You can then use the Pikachu Z-Crystal and activate the Z-move. This Z-move will activate an amazing attack that will most likely do a lot of damage, especially if you have stab and type advantage. Also, this seems to be a more balanced way to handle something like Mega Evolutions, which you could basically have a full team of Mega Evolutions against someone who only has about one Mega Evolution Pokemon. Also on Monday, a man who bought a leaked copy of No Man's Sky for $2,000 claims he found the center in 30 hours. Now, if you're wondering, whoa, he bought a leaked copy for $2,000, that's old news. But the fact that he found the center of No Man's Sky in 30 hours is a bit worrying because of the fact that the creator of No Man's Sky said it would take 3 to 10 hours to beat this game, to get to the center of the galaxy. And saying this, you may be like, well, 30 hours is still a long time, but that's 10 hours of time gone. And he said 40 to 100. Now, most likely, I'm assuming he meant 40 to 100 being like, you're on one planet, and you're like, oh, well, there's something over there, and you go off exploring, and you go off exploring, and you go off exploring, you get sidetracked before you get to the center of the galaxy. Whereas the person who got the leaked copy confirmed he just stuck to the main path and got there in 30 hours, which 30 hours of main story seems to be a lot of main story. Whereas, if in most games like this, it seems to be you explore. For instance, Skyrim is a game that can take hours upon hundreds of hours to beat everything in the game. However, an average person can beat the Skyrim story in about 8 hours. So we'll just see how long it takes an average person to beat No Man's Sky. And with that note, let's move down to Tuesday. Tuesday, Overwatch had their summer updates, and Pokemon Go's company Niantic released a statement. Overwatch's summer update is an update that releases new skins, new emotes, new victory poses, new sprays, basically just all the collectibles. And in each loot crate, you are able to get a new item from the summer games, which is what the summer update is themed around. However, a lot of people have been pointing out the fact that you cannot purchase these items. And a lot of people are like, well, this is just shamelessly trying to get money because people want everything in the game. And my point about that is, this is a game, no characters DLC. We recently got the character Anna, and she is not DLC. This is a character, this is a fully fledged character, and she's not DLC, and you're complaining about cosmetics. And I love collecting these games. It's not encouraging people to pay for more loot boxes. I take this update more as encouraging people to play the game more and level up more. Just keep leveling up and trying to get, because you're guaranteed one summer item per loot box, which I have to say, the odds aren't really that great. There's more than 100 items, but still, that's better than most odds of getting a legendary in the game, and multiple people have gotten, I've gotten in 3 loot boxes in a row, I've gotten 3 legendaries in a row, which is very, very amazing. But that's all I have to say about the Overwatch Summer Update. Pokemon Go's company Niantic released a statement responding to the Saturday controversy, saying, quote, "We had to remove the 3-step display in order to improve upon the underlying design. The original feature, although enjoyed by many, was also confusing and did not meet our underlying product goals. We will keep you posted as we strive to improve this feature." Now, many people have been like, that's fine. But in the same update Saturday, not only did they get rid of the 3-step glitch, but they also blocked all third parties from being able to use the Pokemon Go servers to make maps. And these servers were really helping people who weren't able to find the Pokemon they were looking for, because guess what? Your game's broken. They also responded to that by saying, "We have limited access by third-party services, which were interfering with our ability to maintain quality of service to our users to bring Pokemon Go to the users across the world." So I have to say on this matter, it's difficult to say because multiple people were angry about this, and they had every right to be. They gave us no explanation as to why they got rid of these services, although it could be seen as cheating. But it wouldn't be seen as cheating because these people just wanted to play the game. They just wanted to play the game and find Pokemon. But it's very disheartening when you're like, okay, there's a site there in my area. Is it 3 steps away from me? Is it 1 step away from me? How do you know how close it is? Well, just pull up an app like PokeRadar or a website like it, and you'll be able to find where the Pokemon is. Which I get seems like cheating, but when you have nothing else to do, it's a lot harder. In the game, you go to a tall grass, or you go in the water, or you go in a certain area, and then boom, there's a Pokemon there. But that's an easy way. It's set for you. You know there's going to be Pokemon in that area. Whereas when you're in the area, you're like, okay, I don't know how close this Pokemon is from me. I don't know how far away it is. I could be even going the complete opposite direction. It just disappears, and it runs away. You have 5 minutes to find the Pokemon, and it's not fun to figure out which direction you're going in, because let's say it's 1 step away from you, and you start heading north, and it's behind you south. You start heading north, and you get no indication that you're not going the right direction. You just keep walking, and then it just disappears. And you're like, oh, I was heading the wrong way. But that's infuriating. It's something that's not fun. It takes that fun factor out of the game. So, that's all I have to say about the Niantic statement. So, with that being said, let's move on to Wednesday. More Pokemon Go news on Wednesday, and Inside coming to PS4. On Wednesday, the Pokemon Go released to South America saying, quote, "South and Central America, break out your sneakers and Pokeballs. Get ready to explore the world around you. We are excited to officially be putting Pokemon Go in the hands of our Latin American fans, visitors, and the Olympic athletes in Rio." And once again, people were also complaining because of the battery saver was also removed in the update from Saturday. Niantic also responded with saying, "We have heard loud and clear about the removal of the battery saver mode on iOS devices. We had to remove this feature as several users were experiencing it to be buggy. I myself as a user, I did experience it to be buggy. I would pull my phone out of power saver mode, I would go to catch a Pokemon, and my screen would be frozen. It would be completely frozen, not able to do anything." So they said we had to remove the feature of self experience buggy, but we are fairly confident that the fix should roll out within the next several days, which is good. And then something that was happening recently is people have legendaries, and that's not okay. So here's what Pokemon Go Niantic stated. "A few of our Pokemon legendaries have erroneously been granted to some trainers. Thanks for the help of several of our trainers, we were able to locate them and bring them safely home." Which basically means we found these legendaries that somehow got out, either they were hacked or there was a glitch, and we took them back. So that was another one of their responses, and I have to say they're approaching this much better than in the beginning. As of Saturday, there was like no response, no news, and then frequently throughout this week, boom news, boom news, boom news, boom, 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 boom. Also, what happened on Wednesday was the game Inside was given a release date for PS4. If you don't know what Inside is, it is from the developers of the game Limbo. Playdead Studios developed Limbo, developed Inside, and Inside was a critically acclaimed game that came out on Xbox One, I want to say 2 months ago. I want to say 2 months ago it came out on Xbox One. It was announced at E3, and it had me so excited to play it. I haven't played it yet, because that's a different story, don't ask. But it's been given a release date for PS4 coming August 24th. So that is roughly 19 days away from today, because I know it's going today. So hopefully, if you enjoyed Limbo, you should go play Inside, because it was made by the same studios, and everyone who's been playing it loved it. Moving on to Thursday. Thursday, Nintendo NX news and Prey. The Nintendo NX has been announced to have a March release date and will launch with a Zelda title, a Mario title, and a Pokemon title. So this will most likely be the first home console to have a legitimate Pokemon title. Either it's going to be Sun and Moon, or it's going to be something completely different. Hopefully it's Sun and Moon, so that way we can sit at home, put on your big screen, and start playing Pokemon, because that would be amazing. And most likely the Zelda game is Breath of the Wild, but we have no idea what this Mario game could be. What they've said is the graphics will be somewhere between PS3 and PS4, and they're targeting an audience somewhere in between casual phone users and hardcore users of PS4 and Xbox One, which seems to be a good idea. Yeah, the NX is going to be a hybrid of both a portable and an at-home console, so it's going to be very interesting to see how that quite works and if it works, because as we've seen with the Wii U gamepad, things don't always go as planned. But I hope that it will work, and I hope that this new Sonic game that's coming out will be good. Nintendo NX has also announced that they have third-party support from Square Enix, Sega, Activision, Ubisoft, and Warner Bros. And they hope that there will be no slow start to this console release, which would be a big difference from the Wii U and the 3DS, which both had very slow launches and games that not many people wanted to play when they first came out. So hopefully these games will all push people to go play these games. And yesterday was QuakeCon. QuakeCon 2016. And at QuakeCon 2016, there was a trailer for the new game, Prey. Prey was announced at E3 2016, and I have to say, I'm very much looking forward to it. Prey is a game that seems to be taking a lot of aspects from BioShock, and yeah, that's about all I can say. It's a game that seems to be based a lot in the horror genre, as well as the action-adventure genre, which is a thing that I like seeing in games. I don't like seeing survival horror, because that's a genre that I don't really enjoy anymore. Survival horror is a genre that's oversaturated by so many games being in it. But horror action games are amazing, and I really hope Prey does well, because I've watched this trailer and now I'm like, I need to play this game now. It looks like BioShock. And, yeah, that is about all the news for this past week. Alright, well, that's been, well, the sun has set. So I will see you all on the horizon. You like the show? I don't know. I'll continue it. So thank you all for watching. I'll see you all on the horizon. Bye, guys.